Hello, and welcome to our BC Guild of Wine Judges presentation, Bordeaux Style Reds.
Learning objectives. In this session you will learn the description and technical characteristics of C1 Bordeaux class, the historical connection between Bordeaux and England, the relative importance of Bordeaux in the history of France, the geographic features and wine production in Bordeaux, the 6 large families of Bordeaux appellations, the 4 quality levels of Bordeaux wines, right bank and left bank differences, what is a garagiste, New World Bordeaux style blends, and typical descriptors. Class C1, dry red Bordeaux style. A red wine to be consumed with food. Better wines in this class are virtually free of residual sugar, although a well-balanced and well-aged wine will have a softness that could be mistaken for sweetness. The garnet edge of a well-matured wine is preferable to the red-purple of a young wine. Varietal wines in the Bordeaux-style dry red class must contain at least 85% of one of the following grapes: Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, Malbec, or Carmenere. Blended wines in the Bordeaux-style dry red class must contain at least 85% of 2 or more of the above varieties blended to create an elegant combination rather than a wine resembling one of the components. Technical characteristics: ingredients, grapes, alcohol 11 to 13.5%, color medium red to garnet, sugar 0 to 0.35%, specific gravity 0.990 to 0.993, acidity 5.5 to 6.7 grams per liter, pH 3.4 to 3.7. History of Bordeaux. Bordeaux's history is one of wine and roses. As far back as the 3rd century BC, when it was founded by the Romans, the region's wines began enjoying a favorable reputation. In the mid-12th century, however, its path to worldwide wine fame was set forever when King Henry II of England married Eleanor of Aquitaine and thus gained control of the Bordeaux region. Eleanor's marriage to Henry of Anjou also ushered in a rivalry between France and England for control of Aquitaine and the vast English territories in France that would last for 3 centuries. However, for Bordeaux, the marriage brought only good, as the king tried to gain favor with the Bordeaux citizens by allowing them, among other concessions, tax-free trade with England. As a result, Bordeaux wine became the cheapest imported wine and, unsurprisingly, a major hit with the English. From 1154 to 1453, Bordeaux prospered under English rule, whose fondness for the region's red wine, known across the channel as claret, helped the region gain a worldwide reputation for quality wines. During the 18th century, Bordeaux wine producers would often import wine from Spain, Rhône, and the Languedoc to blend and stretch out their wine, which they sold to the English as claret. While this practice would be frowned upon today by Bordeaux authorities, the French wine writer André Julien noted that some merchants believed that this practice was necessary in order for the claret to be agreeable with the English tastes, a practice he describes as travail à l'anglaise. Today, Bordeaux produces more fine wine than any other region in the world. From its 100,000 hectares, or 247,000 acres of vineyards, the region typically produces around 1/4 of France's total appellation contrôlée wines, of which 75% is red. Although we consider Bordeaux to be a fine wine area, only 3% of the production is Cru Classé or Grand Cru. Geography. Wine names, regional wines, right bank and left bank differences, the classification of 1855, the families of classification, quality levels, soils, and terroir will all be discussed. Bank and left bank. Soils on the left bank are gravel over limestone, and on the right, limestone comes to the surface and gravel is less prominent. Some areas, such as Pomerol, see the emergence of clay. The gravel soils are warmer and allow the ripening of Cabernet Sauvignon. The right bank soils are cooler by retaining water in the clay, and Cabernet Sauvignon has difficulty ripening. Merlot and Cabernet Franc are the main cultivars here because of their more generous ripening characteristics. Red Bordeaux is almost always a blend of different wine varieties. Merlot and Cabernet are complementary and is also insurance in an unpredictable climate. Merlot grapes bud, flower, and ripen earlier than Cabernet and are much more susceptible to coulure, which can affect the harvest quality enormously. Cabernet, on the other hand, ripens late, and a cool or wet summer can seriously affect its outcome. Blending both grapes reduces the risk considerably. Included in the notes are links to slideshows that show in more depth the differences between the right and left banks. In 1855, a group of wine merchants got together and drew up a classification system based on quality and prices of that time. The highest classification, or Premier Grand Cru Classé, was given to 4 chateaux: Chateau Aubryon, Chateau Latour, Chateau Lafite, and Chateau Margaux. In 1972, Chateau Mouton Rothschild was elevated to this class. The video in the notes from Wine Spectator gives an overview of these top chateaux. Appellations can be grouped into 6 large families: Bordeaux and Bordeaux Supérieur, 5 appellations which occupy 46.8% of Bordeaux vineyards; the Médoc and Graves, 16.5% of the land area and 10 appellations. The Médoc is subdivided into the so-called village appellations: Pauillac, Margaux, Saint-Estèphe, Saint-Julien, Mouly, and Listrac. Saint-Emilion, Pomerol, and Fronsac and their satellites include 10 appellations and 10.4% of the area. The Côte de Bordeaux, 8 appellations and 14.4% of the area, and stretches out along the right bank of the Gironde rivers, the Dordogne, and the Gironde estuary. Dry white wines, 12 appellations and 8.3% of the area over the entire Bordeaux growing region, and the sweet white wines, 14 appellations and only 3.4% of the area, and the most famous of which is the Sauternes appellation. There are basically 4 separate quality levels of appellations in the Bordeaux area and across France. There's the lowest standard, Vin de Table. There's the second standard, Vin de Pays, and the highest standard, which includes the AOC wines and the VDQS wines. Terroir can be thought of as region plus appellation plus grapes plus winemaking. There are varying opinions on terroir. Some consider it viticultural voodoo, like Mac Kramer, or, as this person so eloquently says, terroir is the coming together of climate, soils, and landscape. It is a combination of an infinite number of factors: temperature by night and by day, rainfall distribution, hours of sunlight, slope and drainage, to name a few. All these factors react with one another to form in each part of the vineyard what we French call terroir, Bruno Prats. A further discussion of terroir is contained in a Wine Spectator video on the terroir of Chateau Mouton Rothschild. The link to this video can be found in your notes. Grapes. Based on the centuries of grape growing and winemaking history in the region, local regulations allow only 6 grape varieties to be used in the production of red wine. You can actually grow whatever you want, but only the 6 authorized red varieties can be used in red wines labeled Bordeaux. Of these grapes, only 5 are really in use today. They are Cab Sauv, Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. The 6th grape, Carmenere, is nearly impossible to find in the region today because of problems ripening the crop each year. It is known as the Lost Bordelais varietal. Today it is most used in Chile, where it was imported in 1850.
Garagiste or garage wines. The recipe: small yields, organic viticulture, canopy management, hand harvest, bunch sorting, clean cellars, wild yeast, wooden fermenters, and new oak for aging. In the notes you'll find a link to an interview with Wine Spectator and Jean-Luc Dunevet, one of the originators of the garagiste movement. New World Blends Meritage. Varietal labeling can be used when at least 75% of the wine is a single varietal. The Meritage Association was formed for wines that do not meet this rule. It includes 8 sanctioned grapes: Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Malbec, Gros Verdot, Carmenere, and Saint-Macaire. The Meritage blend is required to be the finest product of the estate, and some of the estates do not use the word Meritage on their labeling. The wine we are tasting tonight, typical descriptors will include blackcurrants, cedar, old furniture, cabinets, coffee, tobacco, cigars, cigar box, violets, mineral, green pepper, and chocolate, Cabernet Sauvignon. Spicy fruit cake, Christmas cake, chocolate, blackcurrant, black cherry and plums, Merlot. Blackcurrants, blackcurrant leaves, green bell pepper, smoke and spice, Cabernet Franc. Spice, some fruit, Petit Verdot. Summer fruit and spice, Malbec. The Flight. The taster is a basic level Bordeaux from Saint-Emilion, Cru Bourgeois. The predominant variety is probably included in the Flight is a Chilean wine made in partnership with Chateau Mouton Rothschild, an example of left bank and right bank wines. Several vintages are represented from 2003 to 2008. 2 BC wines are included, an example from Argentina, an example from Washington State, and a Hollywood wine.